All right, I got a fishing story for you today. Unbelievable fishing story. So here I was on this beautiful lake fishing bass, and I was using a pink worm and a hook. I casted that worm way out, and after a few seconds, bam, I got myself a bass. Bam, right? So I'm fighting this bass. The rod is bent like crazy. I'm worried about snapping a rod. I'm running 12-pound test. I'm thinking this is not going to be good. It kept fighting and fighting, and then the rod was bent, and it was jerking and pulling, and I was fighting back. And after about 5 minutes, there was no movement. The rod was bent completely. I kept pulling, and I couldn't feel any jerking going on. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I thought, I really like this hook and this pink worm, and I'm not going to lose it. So I just kept tugging on it just a bit, but I didn't want to break my line, right? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out in the water and get it. So the first thing I thought was just take off your clothes, go in your underwear, and follow the line down. I thought, no, that's kind of stupid. I'm in the end of my dock here. Beautiful lake. It was a bit far out there, the cast. So I whistled for my wife, which is something you should never do unless you've been married a long time. So I whistled. She came down and said, "What is it?" I said, "You got to help me here. So hold the rod, and keep the tension on the rod in case that, I think I might have a fish down there, but there's no action going on. If you see if the fish starts pulling, then just keep reeling it in, okay?" And I set the tension on the rod properly. So she was doing that. I ran in the house and got my bathing suit on and got my diving mask. Then I jumped into the lake and I swam out and I followed the line all the way down until I saw this big clump of weeds, and in the weeds I saw this big bass just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. So I went down even further. I grabbed the leader line, I pulled the leader line a bit, and got him out of the weeds, and then he started fighting with me. I tried going back and I was holding my breath underwater, and and he was fighting the other way, and I had like 3 barrels on him like Jaws. So I kept fighting with him, and then I thought, no, this is no good. So I popped up out of the water and yelled at my wife, "Reel him in, reel him in!" So she starts reeling, and meanwhile I swim back on shore, and then I grab the rod from her and start reeling and fighting the fish, and I got him onto the dock, and finally I got the fish, right? And my wife actually theoretically or technically caught half that fish. So this was the Rambo versus fish story. It's a true story. I got a picture at the very end of this video and showing me standing there holding the fish. There's no way a fish is going to get my lure or my hook. That's a deal breaker right there. Thanks for listening.